Phoenix here, and that happened again. Only one correct prediction from the 4 quarterfinalists. But I've went deep and I've been analyzing things and rewatching everything and seeing where could I have possibly gone wrong. And I have a theory. I think there's something sinister going on in this Club World Cup. I think the Club World Cup could be rigged. The more you watch, again, obviously, for someone like me, especially who has watched every single minute, every single second, and has always spent an incredible amount of time analyzing these matches, something is not adding up. Something does not make sense. There's too much fishy stuff going on in this tournament. And I've had enough. We can go through the matches and I can explain a little bit what my feeling has been watching these. But we're getting to a point now where it's too fishy. It's too fishy. Because I'll explain. We begin with the Fluminense Al Hilal. The spoiler predicted 1-1, right? Which is what should have happened. Everything was calm. The game is dying out. Again, full credit to Fluminense. They keep surprising people. The better Martinelli scoring an unbelievable goal. Much respect. If Gabriel Martinelli tried that, the ball wouldn't even reach the net. So, full respect to Fluminense. They take the lead. Al Hilal respond. They get back in the game. It's 1-1. Just like the spoiler anticipated, this one will go to extra time and then Al Hilal will win on penalties. Then Koulibaly makes a fantastic intervention as always. Comes out with the ball. Right? Hang on a minute. Let me make myself a bit bigger. Comes out with the ball. And all of a sudden, passes, they lose it. He's not at the back. It's simple. What should have been a simple clearance for Al Hilal. A very weak shot. They could have easily just left to the goalkeeper. Ricochets. In the first goal, as good as Martinelli's goal was, Cancelo, sure, we don't know, obviously. He must have been affected more than others by the Jota news. But the ball is about to go out for a corner. Cancelo tries to keep it by passing it straight to a Fluminense player. Fishy suspicion. I don't know. It just didn't make any sense. Both goals that they conceded just don't make any sense. But that's where the weirdness began. But then what happened later that evening or early morning in the Palmeiras versus Chelsea game? Chelsea started fantastic. No doubt about it. Obviously, the spoiler had Palmeiras going through. Chelsea started incredibly well. They had a very good first half. They looked comfortable, much more comfortable than I was anticipating. Maresca, the best attribute he has at the moment is the flexibility. You don't know how Chelsea are going to play, so it's very tough to prepare for them. Because you expect Cucurella to be the one pushing up, but then no. Cucurella forms a back three, Gusto's the one basically playing attacking midfielder. Andre Santos, incredible player. Like I told you yesterday in my Chelsea video, it'll be lunatic behavior from Maresca and the rest of the Chelsea staff if they decide to sell this guy or loan him. He is an absolutely fantastic player. Palmer, who I have been criticizing, had a really good first half as well. And just like I predicted, there's going to be big problems with Liam Delap. He's not Chelsea level. Far from it. When it comes up to playing against decent defenders, decent teams, Liam Delap is nowhere to be seen. Then, of course, subs come on. Joao Pedro was fantastic. So I want to get the praise out of the way for Chelsea. They played really good, especially in the first half. But, like I anticipated, if you attack them, there's going to be problems. Estevao, of all players, gets Palmeiras straight back into the game. It's all calm. We're going straight to extra time. Chelsea seem unable to be able to break down Palmeiras after just the first goal. 1-1. We'll go extra time. We'll decide it over there. Weverton had other ideas. 37 years of age, approaching the end of his career. Now, I've been playing, and of course, I've been watching football for a very long time. When the ball is coming towards you and it deflects, naturally, you're going to be moving one way where you thought the ball was going to go. So, as you deflect, as the ball deflects, you're still moving, right? Once it deflects, you stop. There's a period where a few milliseconds go by. Once the ball deflects, you continue to move. As soon as those milliseconds pass, you stop. You stop on the spot. And at the very least, you don't move. Now, great goalkeepers can then readjust. Now, Weverton is 37 years of age. So, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. The reflexes are shot. So, at the very least, once you begin moving this way, you stop. So, you stop. I'm not asking him to then readjust. At the very least, you stop. What does Weverton do? He keeps moving to the left. He keeps moving to the left. Lets the ball go in. Quite literally, lets the ball go in. In all my years of watching football, I have never seen anything like that. And you're telling me something fishy is not going on. Something sinister is not going on. Do you want to know what my thoughts are? I think Todd Bowley got into Everton's pockets, and before his career comes to an end, he made sure he got a decent sum. There's no other explanation. Because fact of the matter is, Chelsea were not going to break Palmeiras down. Fact of the matter is, we were heading to extra time, and then we will see what's going to happen then. But what we're seeing there, that is not normal. That is not normal. And just like that, another one of my spoilers hit the fan, and I'm 0-4-2. 0-4-2 after analyzing both matches perfectly. No, just say that for my spoiler. Irrespective of the spoiler, whatever the spoiler was, irrespective of that, we're just looking at the game. I'm talking mostly to those that have been watching the sport for a very long time like I have. Telling me that's not suspicious. Not the children, not the TikTok nerds. You don't know anything. You don't know anything. You began supporting Chelsea because they had money. You began supporting Chelsea because you don't know what you're talking about. I'm talking to the proper football fans. Alas. So that happened. Then comes PSG Bayern. I mean, I'm feeling extremely confident, like I said, in Bayern to go through. I've been liking what I'm seeing from them in the tournament. And the first half went like I anticipated. Bayern were the better team. They were pressing extremely high up the pitch. I was very impressed with Upamecano. Pavlovic, I thought, was dominating the midfield. The champions of Europe, the mighty PSG, were under massive pressure. They created one chance in the first half, that's it. Then came the moment. Minute 45. Donnarumma. Who should have been sent off for that, by the way. Because he knows what he's doing, those of us that played football. He knows exactly what he's doing. Dirty, dirty thug. Full wishes and nothing but respect to Jamal Musiala. It turns out it may have been the best possible scenario for him. It's a broken fibula, which will take around four months to recover from. Like I said, best possible news. They couldn't handle Musiala. Musiala comes off, and of course, it does become a very different game. But Bayern were still in it. PSG were better in the second half. Then Harry Kane, who, like I predicted, by the way, was unplayable, was the best player on the pitch for those that actually were watching the game. Loses the ball, PSG counter, Doué score. Doué, who wasn't even doing anything, but that's how football goes, you know, sometimes, which is fine. A bit suspicious, but it is what it is. We're still in the game. PSG, the dirty thugs, then get one player sent off, Pacho sent off. Still minute 83, plenty of time remaining. Then they go down to 9 men. Plenty of time remaining. When you're playing against 9, especially for as long as PSG were playing for, all you have to do, those that have played football at the highest level, is you understand it's all about recycling eventually the ball, and the gap will open up. What happened? PSG scored with 9 men. PSG scored with 9 men against Bayern Munich. They are still, having been running from minute 1, still launching counterattacks with 3 players going forward. In 35 degrees weather. I think what we see in May 31st is starting to make more sense. Let's be honest. This is a club that have spent billions upon billions upon billions. And they still couldn't win the Champions League. At some point, you're going to get desperate, right? I wonder. I really do wonder what else they are doing behind the scenes. The last time I seen a team run like that was in the 1996 Champions League final between Juventus and Ajax. Go ask the Ajax players how they felt like playing that game. But listen. Listen. If they do go on to win this Club World Cup, we'll see what comes out in the future. But if they do go on to win it, then we're talking about potentially the greatest season a club has ever had. Coupe de France, Ligue 1, Champions League, Club World Cup. They could then potentially go on to win Super Cup de France, Super Cup d'Europe, Intercontinental Cup. It could be 7 trophies in 1 year. For Guevara, it could be 8 trophies in 1 year if you add the Serie A as well. For Nuno Mendes, it's 8 trophies and João Neves and Vitinha in 1 year if you add the Nations League. We are, suspicions aside, possibly watching the greatest season a football club has ever had. But, oh, I am suspicious. Keep an eye on this situation. I wouldn't be surprised one bit if something comes out in the future. It could be. Let's not forget the last time a French team won the Champions League, what happened. Then, in the final game, at least a game that we accurately got correct, where I said 2-0 Real Madrid. It was 2-0 Real Madrid until chaos unfolded at the end. And I'm not going to go into the preview for the next matches in the semi-finals today. But Real Madrid were comfortable. They were dominant. And again, full praise to Xabi Alonso. I've been praising him throughout this whole tournament. I predicted that Real Madrid will look completely different already under Xabi. Real Madrid under Xabi in 4 or 5 matches have done more than what they've done under Ancelotti in terms of tactics and playing style, not of course in terms of what they've won, than what Ancelotti has done in 3 years. And that is the biggest testament you can give to a manager. A manager who turns average trash players into good, great players. That's the sign of a top manager. We've seen so many times Frimpong and Grimaldo combine. We've seen Trent and Fran Garcia combine. I couldn't even tell you what formation Real Madrid played because Tchouameni seems like he had a free role to do whatever he wanted. But that's what great managers do. Now Xabi, I got one favor left now against PSG. The only hope you have against PSG, against that PSG team, is if you do one thing. You know what needs to be done. I asked for you to do it in this one. I understand why you didn't do it in this one. But now it's very clear what you have to do. Drop Vinicius. Start Mbappe against his former team. And let Mbappe and Gonzalo Garcia go at those PSG defenders. With Huijsen being suspended at the end, is the one big issue Madrid have because they cannot replace him. He's one of their most important players. PSG missing players as well. We'll get into it in the next one. But specifically for this game, Real Madrid dominant until the end. And then again, massive credit to Thibaut Courtois because if it wasn't for him, they could have been we could have been heading to extra time. I made my team of the week. Didn't go into the flops because a bit too much sinister stuff is happening. Courtois, like I said, if it wasn't for that save at the very end, they could have been sent back in. Achraf Hakimi, where does this rank in amongst best right-back seasons of all time? It's got to be right up there. It has to be right up there. There is no shame or discredit in saying, or arrogance in saying Achraf Hakimi, we can compare him now to the likes of Maicon, to the likes of Dani Alves, to the likes of Javier Zanetti, to the likes of Philip Lam, to the likes of Cafu, to the likes of Carlos Alberto, for those of us who remember those, to the likes of Jalma Santos. He is in that category. Ignacio for Fluminense, I thought was remarkable. People will look at Thiago Silva because he's the only one they recognize. But those that actually watch the game, Ignacio, outrageous. Colwell, who will also miss the game, actually, the next one. Don't even get me started on that rule. Fantastic. Fran Garcia, Roberto Carlos, I don't even know who I'm watching anymore. Arda Güler in that position. Again, it doesn't take a genius to realize that Güler has to be central. That fraud had him playing here. He had him hugging the touchline. And you guys defended that manager. Oh, but he's won all those Champions Leagues. I told you, man. I exposed him. Joao Neves. I always tell you, I don't care about Vitinha. Joao Neves is the heartbeat of that PSG team. Martinelli, the good Martinelli. What a strike. He'll also be suspended. Stupid rule. Palmer is in for all the criticism I gave him for that performance of his in the first half. Joao Pedro, so impressed with what he done in the second half that he's earned himself a team of the week spot. And last but certainly not least, the player of the tournament, Gonzalo Garcia. I cannot wait for the semifinals, but in my analysis for the semifinals, I'm going to have to do something I've always refrained from doing. I have to analyze exterior factors. Because make no mistake about it, there is something sinister going on in this tournament.